Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jay Blanton, spokesperson for the University of Kentucky. I hope everyone on this Zoom call this morning has received the release and was able to access the reports and other materials attached. Those reports and materials speak to a 3-month review of our UK cheer program. If you've not received those, please send us a message via chat, which I'll explain a little bit more about in just a second, and we will make sure you receive those materials. They also have been posted this morning to both UK's Twitter and Facebook accounts. I want to briefly provide you with information regarding the format and logistics for this morning's media availability, which we are trying to conduct in a way that complies with the social distancing and health guidelines established by both the CDC and the Commonwealth. President Eli Capilouto will speak first. He will be followed by Dr. Eric Munday, UK's Executive Vice President for Finance and Administration, then Dr. Dave Blackwell, UK's Provost, and finally, Ms. Sandy Bell, UK's Executive Associate Athletics Director. After our speakers are completed, I will come back to the podium and I'll ask you to send your questions to us via the chat function. Just when you go into the chat function where it says the to line, go in and click moderator. And those questions will go directly to our moderator, and they will be relaying your questions to me that I can then get to the appropriate panelist. We'll try to answer as many of your questions in as timely a manner as possible. I know this is not the most efficient format probably for an availability, but we appreciate your patience with us this morning. With that, I would like to introduce Dr. Eli Capilouto, the 12th President of the University of Kentucky.
A commitment we make and renew every day at the University of Kentucky is the success of our students is at the center of everything we do. But for that sentiment to be more than words, we must always act in ways that honor that commitment, especially when we discover rare instances where those who supervise and guide our students don't meet the standards of integrity we expect of each other. This is one of those times. The University of Kentucky has built the nation's premier collegiate cheerleading program, winning 24 national championships and developing hundreds of outstanding students over the past 35 years. But regrettably, the integrity of the program has been compromised by inappropriate behavior by some squad members during off-campus trips and lacks oversight of the coaches and the advisor. An extensive investigation found hazing activities, alcohol use, and public nudity by some members of the cheerleading squad during annual retreats and out-of-town trips. Some of the poor behavior may have been practiced and tolerated for some years. Most significantly, the program's coaches and the advisors who were responsible for the students and who attended these events knew or reasonably should have known about the inappropriate behavior. They failed to take sufficient steps to address the conduct. They did not act in ways that would protect the health, safety, and well-being of our students who were entrusted to their care. This is not who we are at the University of Kentucky. This is not what we do. Today, we are announcing actions to protect students and ensure the integrity of this proud program. I'll ask Dr. Eric Munday, Executive Vice President for Finance and Administration, to discuss the details.
In early February, the University of Kentucky began investigating allegations of misconduct in the program, specifically alcohol use and public nudity by squad members during off-campus trips, as well as financial conflicts of interest and lax oversight by the coaching staff. The action was spurred by a call from a justifiably concerned family member of a cheerleader. The university took immediate steps to increase oversight and protect students while the investigations were conducted on several fronts. The president made the decision to bring in someone from outside UK with expertise in employment law to provide independent advice and support for our leadership team. This consultant worked in coordination with 3 university offices with oversight responsibilities: the Office of Institutional Equity and Equal Opportunity, the Office of Student Conduct, and the Office of Internal Audit. The 3-month process included interviews with more than 60 students, coaches, and administrators involved with the cheerleading program. The investigations found evidence of inappropriate behavior involving students and lax oversight by coaches and a program administrator. As a result, the University of Kentucky today dismissed all 4 cheerleading coaches: head coach Jomo Thompson and assistant coaches Ben Head, Spencer Clan, and Kelsey LaCroix from their duties with the program. T. Lynn Williamson served as the cheerleading program's primary advisor for 4 decades. His primary university job was Principal Deputy General Counsel. Mr. Williamson retired from UK days after learning of the investigation and being directed to have no contact with the cheerleading squad. Now let me ask our provost, Dr. David Blackwell, to discuss some of the specifics of the investigation.
Thank you, Dr. Monday. The investigation focused primarily on summer trips to off-campus locations where the alleged activities took place: a team retreat at Lake Cumberland and a Universal Cheerleaders Association camp in Tennessee. These are annual activities for the UK cheerleading squad dating back many years. The investigation found evidence of inappropriate behavior, including the following. During a team retreat at Lake Cumberland, some cheerleaders performed gymnastics routines that included hurling their teammates from a dock into the water while either topless or bottomless. The routines, known as basket tosses, were done at the direction of other members of the squad and within the view of at least some of the coaches. Coaches allowed cheerleading alumni to bring boats and alcohol to the retreat, where some cheerleaders were naked and/or drinking while riding on boats. Coaches did not confiscate alcohol brought to the retreat by some squad members or intervene to stop students from consuming alcohol. Several squad members became so intoxicated they required medical treatment. And during a cheerleading camp in Tennessee, some cheerleaders were directed by other members of the squad to perform lewd chants and wear outfits that did not include underwear. Alcohol consumption was part of the late night gatherings of team members. It's important to note the investigation found no evidence of sexual assault or sexual misconduct during these trips. It's unclear how long inappropriate behavior has been part of the off-campus trips. However, we believe these activities were not confined to the past year and may have been tolerated for many years. While much is still unclear, given the conflicting accounts from dozens of participants interviewed, one thing is crystal clear. The blue and white squads have been operating under lax oversight for many years. That can no longer happen, and it won't. Athletics has provided administrative support for the squad and coaches, but the department has never had the authority or oversight to administer the program in the way that it does for 22 varsity sports. For the sake of our students in the integrity of this program. Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart and his team will manage this program with the same support, rigor, controls, and administrative oversight they provide to varsity sports. Mr. Barnhart has named Ms. Sandy Bell, Executive Associate Athletics Director, to oversee the cheerleading program and the hiring of a new coaching staff. Let me now turn to Ms. Bell to discuss the next steps for UK cheerleading.
On May 8, University Athletics received the charge to take control and oversight of the cheerleading program. Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart reviewed the institutional equity report and agreed with its recommendation to dismiss the coaching staff. We appreciate the faith President Capilouto is showing us in entrusting us with this responsibility, and we welcome the opportunity to work with another talented group of students. To win 24 national championships and become the nation's premier collegiate cheerleading program, these dedicated young women and men spend untold hours training, practicing, and performing at athletic events and cheerleading competitions. These students deserve our support to help them be successful. Successful as cheerleaders in competition, as students in the classroom, and as citizens and leaders outside the university. UK Athletics is committed to providing this support, and we're making that pledge directly to current squad members. We are also making it clear that inappropriate behavior will not be tolerated. The annual retreat will be eliminated, and all off-campus trips will be closely supervised. Cheerleading squad members will be held to the same standards as all our student athletes. When it comes to both integrity and competitive excellence, we are not going to compromise. We will also hold the coaches to the same standards as other university employees, not only in their supervision of students, but also financial matters. The Office of Internal Audit is still reviewing some of the concerns about the program and will provide us with recommendations to ensure its integrity and operations. These matters include potential conflicts of interest for two members of the coaching staff, Mr. Clan and Mr. Head, who run gymnastics businesses that employed members of the cheerleading squad. And they include potential conflicts of interest by the advisor, Mr. Williamson, who hired students and coaches to perform work at his home. We have high standards, and they must be met. It's a new day for UK cheerleading. UK Athletics will immediately begin the national search for a new head coach. We expect to receive some outstanding candidates, and we hope to select a new leader within a month. The new head coach will be part of the selection of assistant coaches and the 2020-21 squad members. In the meantime, UK Athletics will work to develop the infrastructure and support needed to maintain UK cheerleading as the nation's premier cheerleading program. The program has certainly had some missteps off the gym floor and away from the sidelines. But when it comes time to perform and compete in the upcoming year, we are confident that these young men and women will continue the excellence that has made UK proud champions. We are all ready to get to work.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. We're now going to take questions. And as a reminder, if you have questions and you're in that chat function, go to where it says to and click on moderator. We'll take those questions and we'll get them to the right person. We have first question to President Capilouto. What most disturbs you about this issue?
I believe I'm most disturbed that we have a trust that we have to maintain throughout this university to meet high standards and meet our commitments to students, faculty, staff, and all who look to this university as a beacon of hope. And that trust was breached. Second, I would say we want students to come here and learn. And it's a shame that this turned into what I would consider to be very hard lessons.
Good. Next question is for our provost, and I think he alluded to this in his comments. Why did you make the decision to move a non-athletic team to the athletics department rather than have it be a student organization?
First of all, the athletics department has a very strong compliance function that will provide the oversight necessary to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. Secondly, cheerleading is an important element of athletic events, and it requires a lot of coordination and logistics, and the athletics department is the place that needs to happen. Finally, we want to continue the championship tradition of UK cheerleading. The athletics department is structured to provide that support that we need to sustain the excellence of the program. UK cheerleaders are world-class athletes competing at a national level, and they deserve the same kind of support as the varsity teams.
Dr. Monday, how many cheerleaders were involved in this and how many came forward?
In the course of the investigation, we interviewed approximately 60 cheerleaders, coaches, and the program advisor. Additional details about numbers and more details on the individual interviews are available in the reports, which have been released.
Also for Dr. Monday, two related questions. It looks like, does this include current cheerleaders? And if so, were they dismissed? And did this activity go back more than 10 years?
The reports address these items, but in summary, today, the University of Kentucky dismissed the 4 coaches. The program advisor had previously retired from the university. We did not dismiss any cheerleaders. Additionally, to the second part of that question, the reports suggest that it occurred beyond just this past year.
Ms. Bell, how does this impact, if it does, past championships?
We have no knowledge that it will impact those at all. Those championships are through the Universal Cheerleading Association. So as far as we know, it should not impact those at all.
President Capilouto, what would you say to the parents of these students?
I'd first like to say that we're sorry that we didn't meet the high standards that you expect of us. And second of all, I want to say it's a new day. You will not hear of any behavior such as this going forward. We have excellent oversight in terms of Sandy Bell and all the other structures that this university puts in place to make sure that we meet all of our compliance and behavior standards.
Dr. Monday, it's a rather long question. Given the conflicting statements on some of the allegations outlined in the reports, can you provide more information about how the conclusion that the allegations that, quote, team members were touched in a sexual manner without their consent, that team members compared the size of their genitalia, that students were forced to engage in oral sex, were deemed without merit?
So there's 3 offices that were involved in these investigations: the Office of Institutional Equity and Equal Opportunity, as well as the Office of Student Conduct. Both those offices reviewed and interviewed and participated in the interviews as stated with those 60. The Office of Internal Audit, that investigation has just commenced, looking at the financial situation and any possible conflicts of interest. In the course of the investigation, the Office of Institutional Equity and Equal Opportunity performs a number of these investigations over the course of each year at the university based on reports. We trust that process. We trust those individuals. They look at each case individually, and they looked at this case and came to those conclusions based on those interviews and other information and evidence that was available to them.
Ms. Bell, given the uncertainty about how long this misconduct was occurring, will the search for a new coach exclude any candidates with previous ties to the program?
We are just beginning our search for a new coach. We will advertise that position exactly as we do any other position at the university. Anyone who does not have something in their file that they can't come back for rehire would be able to apply for that position. And then we will review each candidate individually.
Dr. Monday, are any of the coaches departing the university with any financial compensation?
No. No, they're not departing with any financial compensation. There's no settlement or any such item.
Provost Blackwell, will any of the cheerleaders face any disciplinary sanctions as a result of the investigation? And is there a code of conduct or scholarship agreement that comes into play with this?
So I'll just emphasize that we have implemented all of the recommendations from the reports. The students are going to compete as normal. They will compete for their spots in the program based on tryouts and performance. In addition, the entire team will be required to go through sexual harassment, sex discrimination training through the Office of Equal Opportunity. And they will undergo anti-hazing training annually through the Office of Student Conduct.
Dr. Monday, were any of the cheerleaders underage?
The reports speak for themselves, but we have no knowledge of that related to the age question.
Dr. Monday, again, when were incoming cheerleader commits informed of the investigation?
The process of communication today began with a communication led by athletics with the 4 coaches and our HR officials. Then we released the information to the community and our campus. We're having this event, and athletics will hold a meeting with the cheerleading team this afternoon.
And again to you, Dr. Monday, could the coaches face any charges?
Charges as it relates to what?
It's not specific. I'm assuming maybe the financial issues that are referred to in the report.
Well, the Office of Internal Audit is reviewing the report. The report and the allegations that came out of the Office of Student Conduct and the Office of Institutional Equity and Equal Opportunity. Once that process concludes and a report is issued, if there are things that we need to forward to other offices within the university or outside the university, we'll take that action. But that's in front of us. We do not have that information as of today.
And there's a question I can answer quickly. Has the university made any contact with any alumni who reportedly brought boats to Lake Cumberland Retreat? We have reached out to some of the cheer alumni today to inform them of what's occurred. I believe that's all the questions we have. Oh, sorry, we'll give one more. President Capilouto, and we'll end with this. Do you believe this took place because the cheer squad is not a full NCAA squad, and as a result, there were holes in oversight? And is that why you've made the move to have them fully under Up Athletics?
The move to have this under the full authority of athletics is, I think, a demonstrated record of a strong structure and culture of compliance. I have been able to observe that in my 9 years at the University of Kentucky. And I have deep confidence in Sandy Bell and others within the athletic department and athletic director Barnhart to maintain those same high standards and rigor in regards to this program.
Thank you. That'll conclude our availability. I know we threw a lot of information out this morning. If you have additional questions, my cell phone number is on the news release. We'll be happy to take questions throughout the day. Just call or email me and we'll get those questions to the right people and try and respond accordingly. Thank you for attending this morning. We appreciate it.